Biotechnological Application in Medicine podcast. The recombinant DNA technological processes have made immense impact in the area of healthcare by enabling mass production of safe and more effective therapeutic drugs. Further, the recombinant therapeutics do not induce unwanted immunological responses, as is common in case of similar products isolated from non-human resources. At present, about 30 recombinant therapeutics have been approved for human use the world over. In India, 12 of these are presently being marketed. Number 1. Genetically engineered insulin. Management of adult onset diabetes is possible by taking insulin at regular time intervals. What would a diabetic patient do if enough human insulin was not available? If you discuss this, you would soon realize that one would have to isolate and use insulin from other animals. Would the insulin isolated from other animals be just as effective as that secreted by the human body itself? And would it not elect an immune response in the human body? Now imagine if bacterium were available that could make human insulin. Suddenly, the whole process becomes so simple. You can easily grow a large quantity of the bacteria and make as much insulin as you need. Think about whether insulin can be orally administered to diabetic people or not. Why? Insulin used for diabetes was earlier extracted from pancreas of slaughtered cattle and pigs. Insulin from an animal source, though, caused some patients to develop allergy or other types of reaction to the foreign protein. Insulin consists of two short polypeptide chains, chain A and chain B, that are linked together by disulfide bridges. In mammals, including humans, insulin is synthesized as a prohormone. Like a proenzyme, the prohormone also needs to be processed before it becomes a fully mature and functional hormone, which contains an extra stretch called the C peptide. This C peptide is not present in the mature insulin and is removed during the maturation into the insulin. The main challenge for production of insulin using rDNA techniques was getting insulin assembled into a mature form. In 1983, Eli Lilly, an American company, prepared two DNA sequences corresponding to A and B chains of human insulin and introduced them in plasmid of E. coli to produce insulin chains. Chains A and B were produced separately, extracted and combined by creating disulfide bonds to form human insulin. Number 2. Gene therapy. If a person is born with a hereditary disease, can a corrective therapy be taken for such a disease? Gene therapy is an attempt to do this. Gene therapy is a collection of methods that allows correction of a gene defect that has been diagnosed in a child or embryo. Here, genes are inserted into a person's cell and tissue to treat a disease. Correction of a genetic defect involves delivery of a normal gene into the individual or embryo to take over the function of and compensate for the non-functional gene. The first clinical gene therapy was given in 1990 to a 4-year-old girl with adenosine deaminase ADA deficiency. This enzyme is crucial for the immune system to function. The disorder is caused due to the deletion of the gene for adenosine deaminase. In some children, ADA deficiency can be cured by bone marrow transplantation. In others, it can be treated by enzyme replacement therapy, in which functional ADA is given to the patient by injection. But the problem with both of these approaches that they are not completely curative. As a first step towards gene therapy, Lymphocytes from the blood of the patient are grown in a culture outside the body. A functional ADA cDNA using a retroviral vector is then introduced into these lymphocytes, which are subsequently returned to the patient. However, as these cells are not immortal, the patient requires periodic infusion of such genetically engineered lymphocytes. However, if the gene isolate from marrow cells, producing ADA is introduced into the cells at early embryonic stages, it could be a permanent cure. Number 3. Molecular diagnosis. You know that for effective treatment of a disease, early diagnosis and understanding its pathophysiology is very important. Using conventional methods of diagnosis, that is, serum and urine analysis, etc., early detection is not possible. Recombinant DNA technology, polymerase chain reaction, that is PCR, and enzyme linked immunosorbent assay, that is ELISA, are some of the techniques that serve the purpose of early diagnosis. Presence of a pathogen, that is bacteria, viruses, etc., is normally suspected only when the pathogen has produced a disease symptom. By this time, the concentration of pathogen is already very high in the body. However, very low concentration of a bacteria or virus at a time when the symptoms of the disease are not yet visible can be detected by amplification of their nucleic acid by PCR. Can you explain how PCR can detect very low amounts of DNA? PCR is now routinely used to detect HIV in suspected AIDS patient. It is being used to detect mutations in genes in suspected cancer patients too. It is powerful technique to identify many other genetic disorders. A single-stranded DNA or RNA tagged with a radioactive molecule called probe is allowed to hybridize to its complementary DNA in a clone of cells, followed by detection using autoradiography. The clone having the mutated gene will hence not appear on the photographic film because the probe will not have complementarity with the mutated gene. ELISA is based on the principle of antigen antibody interaction. Infection by pathogen can be detected by the presence of antigens, that is, proteins or glycoproteins, etc., or by detecting the antibodies synthesized against the pathogen. Thank you.